again, we now know that Carney will be visiting the White House and Donald Trump this coming Tuesday. For more on that, on what's at stake, let's bring in the CBC's Richard Madden in Washington. Richard, this is a big opportunity for Canada to start on some good footing with the U.S. What have we learned from Trump's meetings with other world leaders? Zelensky is a key new verb that I know others have been using, because that is definitely the image that comes to mind when you kind of have a worst case scenario.
Yeah. It's the image of what not to do. So based on what we have seen through leaders visiting the White House, flattery and substance works, confrontation or trying to outshine the star in the room does not. Let's take a look at French President Emmanuel Macron. He went in respectful, focused, showered the president with compliments. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, polite, formal, and played up the royal pomp and pageantry by extending an invitation from King Charles, inviting Trump to a rare second visit at Buckingham Palace. And as you noted earlier, there's that shorthand in political circles to avoid getting Zelensky, of course, referring to the way Trump treated Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky at the Oval Office in that disastrous meeting back in February. Mark Carney appeared to have a different strategy going in, and he explained how he'll be preparing for his first face-to-face meeting with a president who's been openly hostile to Canada, and included what else is on his to-do list. Listen.
There are two sets of issues. There are the immediate tariffs, both sectoral and so-called reciprocal and fentanyl tariffs, and then there is the broader relationship. So addressing both sets of issues. We'll see how that progress goes. It's important to get engaged immediately, which has always been my intention, has always been his intention, and I'm pleased to have the opportunity for quite a comprehensive set of meetings that will take place on Tuesday.
Okay, so a little baptism by fire and a major test of what Carney himself described as a technocrat. He is now, of course, the prime minister. It's also worth noting, though, down here, we've already noticed a stark difference in tone from President Trump to Prime Minister Carney. It's been very warm, welcoming, complimentary, which is a stark difference to Carney's predecessor. The White House did not have a lot of time for former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trump even called Carney a very nice gentleman. Now, there's a reason for this, because these two leaders have met before. Carney was a governor of the Bank of England at the time, and was part of a central bankers group that briefed the administration, including President Trump during his first term, on global economies in a post-Brexit world. So Trump is familiar with how Carney works, his economic background. But of course, Trump is also familiar with Carney's campaign message, where he made fear of the Trump administration central to his strategy. But from what I'm getting from the White House, this appears to be water under the bridge. That said, of course, I suspect this visit will be treated here in the U.S. with a bit more intrigue compared to other visits. Democrats and never-Trumpers are framing Carney's victory as a model to campaign on as they prepare for their own midterm elections 2 years from now.
And Richard, we are seeing Trump shift some of his policies of late, especially when it comes to trade. So could this be good timing for Carney?
Yeah, quite possibly. But of course, there are risks. As has been brought up, President Trump is unpredictable. He could hurl some insults at him as a way to delight his own supporters. But as I noted earlier, we've seen the administration at least appear to be a bit more respectful to Carney. On the other hand, the timing is important here, because this administration is also facing some domestic political headwinds. So again, the timing of this visit could work in Carney's favors. We're seeing Trump's tariffs rattling markets, causing inflationary pressures and driving up costs. And with that, we're also seeing more Republicans who are facing their own re-election in the midterms breaking with the president and becoming more vocal on the economic damage the tariffs are causing in their home states. And that may be why we're seeing the White House change their messaging on tariffs, sounding more open to making deals with allies and rolling back tariffs on Canadian auto parts, and signaling Trump is open to relaxing more of them. But conversely, we see Trump tightening the screws on China. The latest one took effect overnight, slapping extra fees on certain Chinese imports bought online. And we also have to zoom out a bit. The administration is also getting an earful from U.S. tourism operators. Vegas, Miami, New York, they're all losing money because Canadians are boycotting vacations south of the border. So perhaps in this meeting, the two leaders may agree to lower the temperature. After all, Trump is expected to be in Canada next month for the G7 summit. With that said, we're already hearing less of Trump's 51st state trolling, and it's worth noting Trump hasn't even given Carney an insulting nickname, and that's the reality of Trump-style politics. So all this, of course, could play in to Carney's favor as the White House tries to manage the political and economic pressures caused by Trump's tariff rollout and trade war.
The president is mercurial, volatile. No one can predict what he will do on Tuesday. It'll sure be interesting to watch, Richard. Thank you. The CBC's Richard Madden live in Washington.